like a this, and this is it has all the apps. It can't. It's like imagine e-ink that never dies.
Welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 60 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're hearing this, you are the Fediverse. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, not because we have an algorithm to feed, because that's how you see the other servers and we can all connect and grow and things like that. My guest today, who I'm super nervous about talking to now, is Devine Lu Linvega. And please correct me if I got any of that wrong.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay. Devine is a self-described vagabond, lifelong student, and co-founder of 100 Rabbits, an artist collective that documents low-tech solutions with the hope of building a more resilient future. Devine lives and works on a 10-meter sailboat named Pino, I think it is, in order to go to remote parts of the world to learn about how technology degrades beyond the shores of the Western world. Devine, thank you so much for being on. As I was saying at the beginning, I hadn't heard of you, and this is all amazing stuff. So I'm so excited to talk to you about all of this. But before we start, how would you like to be addressed?
You mean like pronouns and stuff?
Pronouns, like if you want a different name, like is it just Devine is fine?
It's fine. Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. And please, as much as or as little as you want, how did you get to where you're at today? Because this is incredible stuff. I love this.
Well, in normaler times, I would be inside. Behind you would look like a boat. Right now, it looks like a hotel room. I'm traveling right now, and it's not by boat. That's unfortunate. But normally, Rec, who's also in the chat, together we just live on a boat and travel around. Every summer we cast off and go to a different place. We've been on the Pacific for 10 years now, so usually we stick around like what's reachable by the water around these parts.
Okay.
We've never been to Europe, for example. But we go up and down the coast. We've been to Japan, New Zealand, all the islands in the tropics. And
oh wow!
Recently, we've been going to Alaska and the West Coast, like basically like hopping in the little fjords, going up.
Okay.
And down the coast.
Oh wow! So you basically followed the entire coast of the eastern part of Asia and western part of Canada, United States.
Yeah, we did a
North
big circle,
America.
basically. Like if we flipped the Earth like this, we would have gone like.
Dude, that is amazing. Well, how did how did you even get to the point where you're like, I'm going to go live on a boat and I'm going to help change technology outside of the U.S.? Like, how did you get to even that point?
Well, that wasn't the plan. Like, nobody gets there by having a plan like that. Our plan was like, let's just make cool games, and surely using Unity and Xcode on the boat will be easy. And eventually, you sort of like learn that it's not possible, and we sort of course corrected along the way. But the idea of being on a boat was sort of like we saw the price of rent going up and up, and we wanted to make projects that were like worth less and less. So just to meet the intersection here, we had to find a way to live with like a much lower cost of living. And we thought a boat would be like a nice workspace where like we don't have rent to pay, and if we can't afford marina or docking or whatever, we can get away without having like the roof over our heads getting picked out. So like for 10 years now, we've been experimenting with this, and it's by no means a perfect system. We're still very much learning how that works.
So you're saying being a technologist living on a boat is more complicated than just being a technologist and working on a boat, right? Like, and that's where this whole thing has led you, though, is how can I be one and the other? It sounds like proficiency, performance, getting into alternative
I think there's sort of like there's obviously a lot of people who discover permacomputing now. They're like, it's like, oh, it's such a nice aesthetic, and I'm gonna like do this at home, and we were sort of like we just fell into it, and then we were looking for a way out, and permacomputing was like the option that we found. So we were sort of like presented with this option. We were like, oh, cool, this is more compatible with our new way of living than anything else we come across.
And for someone that literally just literally, I think it was today or yesterday, started diving into permacomputing, which was hilarious because the video that someone sent me is like, oh, permacomputing is this, where it's a lecture that directly quotes you. So it's like, oh my God, okay. So for someone that knows nothing about permacomputing, where you're actually cited, explain permacomputing to me.
Well, there's like a demo scene artist who came up with like an umbrella term for talking about like his vision of utopian usage of computation, I guess.
Okay.
His name is Visnut, super smart guy who wrote a lot about like optimizing for needing less. I think he's from Sweden, and I think at that time a lot of people were like converging toward a means of reaching each other. So like at the same, I mean, like back like if we go back 10 years ago, people were like,
okay,
the Scuttlebutt community, you might be familiar with. They have a decentralized chat platform. It was created by Dominic Tarr, who's also on a sailboat. Anyway, so there was like the person who run Collapsible System, Julian Oliver in New Zealand, is also someone who's like connected with this world of like trying to find a way to need less, because I mean, some of these people, they're in places where like Amazon is not an option. You know, the supply chain is pretty weak. There's no Apple store at the corner street. So like you have to know how to repair your device and stuff. But like, yeah, shout out for SSB in the chat. So like I think people were looking for a word, or like because there was no community about specifically this topic. Like a lot of people have been experimenting with like preservation of digital systems for a long time. Like I found examples of this all the way back to the 80s.
Okay.
But nowadays, if you're like in your 30s and you're trying to, you're noticing this issue, the options that you have is going to lead you to the word permacomputing. It became this sort of like fireside, like this like campfire that people can like reach and meet other people who are struggling with some repair issues or like software, issues like software preservation, digital archiving, finding manuals about softwares that don't exist anymore. Like a friend of mine recently used the word replanting for like, let's say you find something on the Wayback Machine that's going extinct, and so he took that file, reformatted it, put it on his own website, called it Replanted, the web page, because like searching it through, like finding that result on Wayback Machine was hard. Anyway, so like this is not necessarily, I mean, it's a permacomputing practice that was never clearly stated, but it's this way of thinking that brings these kinds of practitioners together, and permacomputing is just that.
So
like umbrella word.
Permacomputing then being that we make computing permanent, the stuff that we have out there, but we also make it as efficient as possible. Is that a part of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, it's a pretty loosey-goosey sort of thing, right?
Okay.
It's like, it's mostly artists and musicians who are having fun with this right now. There's no like, it's like obviously once in a while you get someone who's like, yeah, but how do I make my taxes in a permacomputing way? Like, okay, well, chill out. It's sort of like, it's something that right now is explored. I couldn't really say that there's like definitely like hard lines around what is.
So would you call it an art form though?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. That's okay. I see what you're saying. Well, yeah. How the hell do you define that? It is not trying to be as specific as something as we're saving everything, but it is replanting. Like the idea of that in itself is the art.
like sci-fi is not prescriptive, right? But it might like any sci-fi might advise the future. I think permacomputing right now has this
Yes.
role of like in a situation where like supply chain collapse
Oh,
happens.
wow.
Well, we will have a body of artworks that have explored this already, and that might help find a way out of this issue that we might be in. So it's a sort of sci-fi, but you can practice it today. If you go sailing, you'll be in the future of supply chain collapse, role playing basically. And I think that's sort of like that's why we ended up here.
This is absolutely fascinating and incredible to me because it's a view of data and connectivity and I guess bouncing back from catastrophe in a way that I've never even thought of. Well, how do you even come up with a classification for permacomputing? Like who defined permacomputing?
I think you're bound to fail if you try. Like I saw some people being like,
It's
no, the permacomputing ends here, and it's like okay,
okay,
like
yeah.
I don't know. For me, I think right now it serves a really good purpose, and it's to find each other. So like other people, like it brings sailors struggling with technology together, but also it brings people who are like in war-torn countries or like in situations where like they can't repair their devices and they still have to go on together. And
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool. The sailboat is like definitely an extreme ridiculous idea. Who like we're like tourists in this in this domain basically, but I find like it serves its purpose beautifully because it puts me in contact with people who know how to fix shit, and that's basically what I need.
Well, and that's why it's there though, right? Is for us to help each other. At at
Yeah,
at this point, even if you didn't start out as a captain of a boat growing, like you didn't grow into boating, you now have instant access to those kinds of things and people want to share it. We all love sharing information. We all love teaching and learning from it. This is absolutely incredible. Holy, I don't even know where to go with any of this. Fix it in post. Fix what in post.
oh, because my stream is lagging, I think, but I can take it down, but it won't be as fun. I think a laggy video is probably going to be more fun than no video at all. So
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah. No,
and the mirror is what's fucking things up, I think, right now.
I didn't even see the mirror there. Oh, I do see the mirror. We can't see anything. Oh, actually.
Yeah, that's
Huh. So, but
but anyway,
you,
you can do your research about permacomputing. You'll see the rabbit hole goes pretty deep.
no, and that's the thing. I'm looking at, okay, so you have a website, which you got to tell me how to even pronounce it.
Oh, it's unpronounceable. Like most of the projects and most of the things I do. It like
Oh my God.
my Fediverse username is like 5 vowels next to each other. So good luck with that.
I'm glad I didn't try to pronounce it then because I'm looking at that and I'm like, I'm just going to call him Devine, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I mean that most of the you'll see there's a connecting thread between the projects. If you can't pronounce it, probably I might have had something to do with it.
but you're, again, like on another level of art that I don't know if I'd ever understand. um, but so XXIIVV, which originally I, of course, thought were Roman numerals,
Yeah,
and they're
it's a
not.
non-Roman numeral.
It's a non, and I had to ask the AI, like, what? And it's like, yeah, no, it's, you could take them as Roman numerals, but it doesn't actually add up to anything. It's not an actual full Roman numeral. Which I was just like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, because my mind immediately just goes to, oh, okay, it's Roman numerals. And like, you're on a whole
You'll notice.
different other wavelength to me. And then, yeah, so you make art essentially. And you also
Yeah,
do research. Like, this is mind blowing to me. But, okay,
but
so your
I'm not
website,
alone. Like I work with Rec, who's also on the chat right now, and
yes.
most of the projects that we do have like this strong visual element to it, which
Yeah.
mostly is work as work. Um, but I think like it's nice because we get to make pretty niche specific exploration of research works and document it in a way that has these pictures, illustrations, graphs, and things that might help with the approachability of whatever we're exploring. Um, a lot of the work that we do is sort of like researching old like projects that were like that went defunct. Like some of the projects that we work on are like as old as 200 years ago, where someone was like, "Oh, I'll make a conlang using the cannons of a ship tuned at different frequencies, so like the warships can communicate to each other, and then we'll like take the language made by this person, like bring it back, document it, try to find people want to learn it, and just sort of like revive this. We did that with all sorts of other programming languages and things that seem fun to us, whatever it is.
Impossible to me.
No, you say that, but you just have to spend sometimes.
But yeah, so your website is it's a wiki that has all of the information that you guys have kind of collected in art, and I think you're like repairing your boat. That was in this one, right?
Well, the 100 rabbit one is definitely more like nomad centric.
Okay.
So it's like how to mill flour and like oil the mill and like repair the mill when it
Yes.
breaks, and why do you need the mill, and how to preserve the food and how to grow microgreens and this all this kind of stuff. XXIVV is more like how to make fizzbuzz in Fractran and like some weird esoteric computation stuff.
Well, what is your background before all of this? Like, because
I'm a high
you're
school dropout.
really,
Yeah.
Because it's art, but it's also very nerdy technology. You have arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, language, computation, but then you have this incredible visual. That is incredible talent to be able to have both of those, to balance both of those, to make sense of both of those. Like, this is amazing.
Potato. I think if you music is sort of like really closely related to programming, and also when you
That's what I've
program,
heard.
it all connects somehow. I think like and I don't really specialize in any one thing, but I like to touch
Yes.
all these different media. But the more you do this, the more you see the parallels and the intersections.
And that's why I'll be honest, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't know what he does, because you do a little bit of kind of everything, which
Yeah.
that's
Remain nameless is my motto. Undefinable is great. Like I get to like not be put in a box. Like it's funny because right now I'm traveling. I'm in Austria, and
yeah.
the organizer is like, I had to justify like getting you here, and when people ask me like why, he's like, I have no idea. Like I just like talked and talked, and I went into a haze, and then everyone just looked at me blank, and eventually they're like, yeah, okay, here's some money, get Devine here. But it's hard to just say like this one keyword maybe that will summarize this, because otherwise it's just like, oh, it's not really just illustration, but like, oh, the illustration is
Yeah.
audio reactive, and oh, the program that was used to make that illustration is written in this weird ezolang, which also has like these cute cartoons characters to and like it's sort of all connected.
And it's beautiful. Like
That's Rekka sculpting.
I think it's beautiful. It speaks I don't know. It speaks to me like as a nerd. It's fascinating. I think your art is beautiful. And again, it's on such another level that I'm so glad you defined it, because vagabond, lifelong student, and co-founder. Well, I want to talk about 100 rabbits in a second, but like it is so contrary to the life that I grew up in that it's hard for me to kind of wrap my head around. But I'm envious of the path that you chose, because it is And I wouldn't have chosen another path. I love where I'm at. But the path that you chose is you've had those experiences to see how all of this works outside of the modern world, right? The Western world. And that changes your view of how to actually approach the world.
Well, the way I think about this is that like we get to I like the idea that the best moment to prepare for a catastrophe is before, because when it's
Yes.
happening, it's like it's chaos and you can't really like get on top. Um, but the boat right now allows us to like you don't have to sail far to be completely alone. And when I
Yeah.
mean alone, I mean like you go 15 miles offshore and you're out of the weather buoys. You're away from the cell towers.
Ooh.
You're off the horizon line, and
Yeah.
so and that's not far. 15. You could kayak there in like in an afternoon, basically, if you wanted. But I think people are like, oh, this is like civilization is. I mean, like let's say you're a tech manufacturer. Well, you design for San Francisco city life,
Right.
like
Yeah.
downtown people, right? A lot
Yeah.
of the tech is not designed for that, and you don't have to go far outside of the cities for that to fail. Obviously, the sailboat is like an overshoot in this aspect. You don't have to go sailing to explore this. You can, like go to the countryside, and everyone has like awful internet, and they're trying like all of our friends in BC who are just slightly off this out of the city, and
Yeah.
for them the normal world is that, oh yeah, oh my phone is like on the table here because it has to update for 4 hours, and like and that's normal. It's like, oh yeah, I mean that it's not as fast as before, but we just so that's like for us, it's sort of like we document it as a. That's why I said tourist, because we're just sort of like, I mean, we can make a choice of sailing closer to the city if we want, but they live there and that's their everyday thing. But nobody's really writing about this or like exploring this as much. And
Yeah.
if we can do any good at all, is to sort of like try to take some of this experience and just see how it can be improved somewhat, or at least
Well,
talk
and
about.
and the boat is the extreme example, right? Like you're wholly dependent on yourself out in the middle of nowhere. But if you can make it work there, then it only gets easier when you actually take some of these extremes away, like not existing on the water, right? Like literally that's just one thing. That's so you're massively
But okay, so like
it,
most of the people who help us are
yeah.
like 50s plus. It's people who remember how technology worked when it was simpler,
Yes.
when it didn't do as much things. And most of the time, most like the knowledge that we get is not. It's not so much that we Google it. We're surrounded by people who are willing to help us. Like I think people nowadays, they don't think they need to learn anything because they can look it up, Google it, or but like
Yeah.
it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that it would be hard for us to go back to school to learn. There's a lot of stuff that's being lost. Like we're surrounded by people who have knowledge of crafts that are they don't have children, they won't be able to pass it down, and this will just die. Like like we're
Oh,
surrounded by
wow.
wood boat owners, and they don't have kids who will take on their boats. So this is just going away. Being there for us is a way to like see what's possible. A lot of the food preservation knowledge that we have comes from like like Europe, big famines, people like children of people who survived it, and who remember how to like ferment things. And
Yeah. It's and like it permacomputing. Okay. Right? Like that's
yeah, it's
okay.
it's it's one and the same, right? Like we use we lure nerds with the idea of programming, but then like our
But
subterfuge is to teach them also about how to grow microgreens on the side.
no, but yeah, interesting because that is a divide of especially we assume I mean, again, I'm in America. I don't even assume that I don't have cell access and when I do, oh my god, it's a travesty cuz right, I can't get on my phone, but there are places that still we want to connect, if they want to. But they don't have that kind of infrastructure. They don't have those resources. So again, to make it as uh, efficient as possible, you could bring in all new people that then can share their experiences, their desires, their ideas.
Yeah. Like to give you an idea, right now
Wow.
I'm traveling in the countryside of Austria without a phone. And the challenge, like everyone I meet is just like mind blown by this. Like they don't really know how to approach me because they're like, oh yeah, go to the event and call me when you're in front. I can't call you. Can we set a time? Oh, setting a time to meet someone. I haven't done this in years. So it's sort of like relearning, old habits.
Phones, yeah, I mean, phones have been with me for, you just assume. And when you don't have your phone, you feel weird. Like that, it's funny that we've gotten to that extreme, like from, oh, I'll get the call when I get home to, I have to get the call right now as soon as it comes in because it needs to be answered. And then just being like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. And it blew it. Yeah. People can't understand. Why would you not have your phone? Like,
Yeah, it's a weird idea. It's like a foreign idea, but I mean, not too long ago that was just normal. Wait, let me see if I can show you the my paper computer, my my notebook. Hold on.
paper computer? This is amazing. And thank you all in chat for coming here. My mind is too blown to actually follow chat right now. I'm sorry. But I can't wait to hear what 100 Rabbits is then because my brain is just going to melt out my ears.
All right,
A paper
so
computer.
that's just a paper map. Uh, this is my map app. So let's see. This is where I am at the corner right here, and this is some of the events I need. This is how all the notes I have to take to figure out how everything is in German here for some reason, and and and
So
my
wait.
German apparently is not great.
So wait, you're saying that we could get just a piece of paper and
Fold it
what?
in like a this, and this is it has all the apps. It can't. It's like imagine e-ink that never dies.
I love this. I hate my phone. Fuck yeah, man. Let's do it. I'm gonna leave my phone at home. My wife is gonna freak out. She'll be like, I couldn't get a hold of you. I left my phone at home. Oh my god. Like that's and I have to laugh not because what you're doing is so funny or so dumb it's funny. Like no, I have to laugh because that has become the exception that like blows our mind, right? Like I've even told my wife, my
Yeah.
wife likes to write down lists, and I always tell her, just use your phone. And that is
No,
such a better way to do it, man.
yeah, yeah. It's the best. It's like you have like support for SVG. You can have vector images if you want. You can write fractions with numbers above each other, which oh my god, like what like PostScript can't even. So the and nomography. You want to multiply numbers together really quick. You have a ruler
how
at hand.
how did we get to this point where like that just feels so unnatural?
Yeah, I don't know. I think like a lot of people who do like um, like uh, like Ink and Switch, for example, is a studio that does malleable computer exploration. They're trying to figure out how to do like computers that are uh, more humane or more reactive, I guess. And and their threshold is like, is this idea better than paper? And there's so many ideas that don't go over the threshold
Yeah.
because this is just so such a powerful medium like origami, all this stuff. It's easy to carry, it's easy to share. Like I'm giving a talk tomorrow about the programming language, and I made a zine for everyone. So like I'm gonna hand those out, and they will it contains everything they need to know to follow along with the talk. They don't have to open their phones and like be distracted by notifications and whatever. Um, I, I think it's cool, and learning to write again. it forces people to think deeply about whatever they're trying to say. Like if you write a letter to a friend, you'll do a draft, and then you'll retranscribe it, and then you'll think about it differently from the outsider perspective. It creates a sort of like a dialogue with yourself. The process of transcription, learning cursive, it slows down your thinking process, so you have deeper understanding of what you're trying to do. It doesn't distract you.
And it's so much more human and personal.
Yeah, and
right?
it's cheaper too.
No, and we've gotten so far away from it just to save time or be more efficient, but time for what? To use more devices.
Yeah, but I mean, like we wouldn't
God.
be able to have this conversation that we're having right now, right?
Right.
Its upside. But I see behind you, there's all these the drawings of your kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's never paper art craft. It's never going away. I think because it's just such a natural, approachable, accessible thing that people will gravitate towards. Even if they are surrounded by devices, you're surrounded by screens, and you're still you still find a way to have paper, like plastering the wall behind you. So I think that's pretty.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No. This is amazing because we went from what is permacomputing to understanding permacomputing to paper. Yeah.
Well,
but
often people are like, oh, permacomputing, oh, that idea is like, it's too beyond me. Like, I don't know anything about, assembly for the Z80, or it's like, whoa. It's more concrete than this. And it doesn't depend on this or that, supply chain. It's like, if you can compute it on paper, nobody can take it away from you. Like a lot of the projects that we explore with 100 Rabbits is that, like, it's a way of doing computation where every transition of bits, every translation of state, we can map it in our heads. This is a form of computation that goes beyond the number of opcodes of the 6502 or some other retro computing thing. It's more of a foundational knowledge about something, but it's the same way with foods and same way with navigation or anything really.
So you co-founded 100 Rabbits. So what is 100 Rabbits?
You mean the name?
In general. So you co-founded 100. I mean, yeah, you can talk about the name if you like.
Well, so because what we do is all this. It's like
right.
Like this is all we spend all of our days exploring exactly this, and we don't know. There's nothing else. Well, it's not like we're not like. It would be hard to define in other terms than, this, but full time. But the name comes from a sailboat in a Japanese TV show called Ergo Proxy.
And what was it called?
Ergo Proxy. I'll write it in the chat.
And that's where the name arrived from?
Yeah, there's a sailboat in it called the 400 Rabbits, which is based on like a Mexican tale.
Oh, okay.
And we took that name, and our sailboat is called Pino, which is one of the characters on that show that's aboard that ship.
Okay. Yeah, no, and the reason that I bring up...
We do have a weird source like that.
No, but everything has a source. I always say this. Yeah. Like the Woffern guys. I talked to the Woffern guys just last chat. I'm like, what does Woffern stand for? You have to go watch the other video to find out. But no.
Yeah, but you can just leave this on my cliffhanger like this. So where does the name come from? Because I was curious too.
What is it? They saw an article. Oh God, I'm gonna get it wrong, and it's.
Okay, women. Never mind. I'll watch it talking.
Yeah, it's women. Something AF representing nipples or something like that, and then they found out it was presenting nipples, but they kept it Wayfern. It was basically an activist group on Blue Sky, women advocating for representing nipples or something like that. And they're just like, we like that name.
Okay.
So it's very odd, but sorry, I know that sounds really weird. It's very odd and ridiculous, but everything is derived from something, right? And I wanted to show what 100 rabbits is, your website, that it is literally what we're talking about. It is permacomputing. Here's how sailing. So it's a wiki, but it is again much more personal because it's experiences. It's how you do these things, not what is this thing.
Yeah, like one thing that we try to do is every project has like a timeline. So we try stuff and then we write about how it didn't work because most of the things that we try really don't work. Um, like we were annoyed by all this sailing stuff, especially sailing. Like this is like gridlock by capitalism like crazy. You'll have like people saying like, oh, this thing, this gizmo, this paste, this goop, whatever, changed my life. Now the water doesn't drip and
Oh
like the boat is
yeah,
dry because we bought this thing, this tool, whatever, this machine, and you never like once the sponsorship is over, you never hear about the thing again. And we were just like, fuck, these things, this is so annoying. Uh, so what we decided to do is that every time we try something for the like every year we'll talk about how it went. Like every little thing we try, like little like a new knot that we try to like use for like anchoring setup. We'll try it and try it and try it, and we'll update the logs and say like it works, it works. Oh, it doesn't work in this situation. Oh, it doesn't work if this happens. And this is what we found was missing in a lot of these like say well, I mean the same space, but also in perma computing we're trying to do the same with some other aspects. But I like this thing that knowledge exists over time. It's not like a
yeah.
this 100 habits allows us to fail in public, which is kind of like outlawed right now. Like you can't really like make a mistake. You have to be right from the start, which
Yeah.
which is incompatible with learning in general, right? But 100
Or
habits
change your
is like
mind.
our
You're
scratch pad. Yeah, or
you're
changing
also
your
not allowed
mind
to
in
change your
public. That
mind.
is,
Yeah.
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 I've learned a lot, and I wish like I'm so happy nobody like shut me down for making mistakes and not letting me course correct. But 100 rabbits is that like scratch pad basically for us.
It it's I don't even know how to say it other than it sounds romantic. It sounds super fun, massively interesting. It sounds like
Well, I mean,
is this again, you didn't set out to have this, right? You evolved as the situation evolved.
the
And
the feeling of romanticism, like the romantic feeling that you're having right now. Like, let me dispel this real fast for you, okay?
no, and
Because
that's
it's
I
like,
was I was gonna ask after saying that, like you had to give up a lot.
yeah, exactly, right. So like okay, so like tomorrow I'm gonna go to give a talk and I'm gonna have slides and show how much we're like, oh, it's us in the sun, oh, it's us rowing to the shore. There's not gonna be pictures of us shitting in a bucket or like running out of water or like it's sort of like 100 rabbits is like a little bit cleaned up, but I mean, like we have to be careful, right? Because if we say right up like, oh, like we fell out of the boat in the middle of the ocean and we almost drowned, people are being like, okay, well, sailing is too dangerous and the outside world is a vile place and I should stay in my basement and like fuck the outdoors. Okay, well, so but on the other side, if we're like, oh, it's heaven on earth, like it's so much outdoorsy time. We're hiking all the time. Oh, look at us doing all
The
this shit
boat
outside.
never breaks down. The bathrooms are always perfectly clean. Like,
Yeah, no, no,
yeah.
we're trying to hit the middle mark where it's sort of like, yeah, it's not better, it's just different. Okay, so someone on the chat is like, yeah, it's true. You never show your poo-poo system. We have like 6 pages on the wiki exactly about this topic. So please, someone tell
Let me
Baba
see.
Goose the toilet setup. Yeah, Rex is gonna take care of that.
I'm trying to look it up. I'm assuming it's in off the grid. Water, rain, shower, power provisioning. But no, and again, that we had slowly transitioned and changed our lives to allow, phones in. We saw them as more useful, more effective, but we lost so much, right? Like to the point where not having a phone on you is ridiculous. Like that, and but it's not. That's oh god,
It's not.
I
I
feel
think
so
like
old.
you, you would adapt really much easier. Like it's all marketing, right? Like you're told that you need it, so you think you need it, and eventually it becomes scary to not have it. But
That's
it's like everything. It's like when you start to do it, you're like, oh, okay, that's like it's people who discover that shampoo is like a lie for people with short hair. Like it's like, well, I never tried because I was told that. Oh well, you probably like yeah, but like it's sort of like we have all this preconception of like, oh, it's so
oh yeah,
dangerous to go out. Like if you don't have your phone, you're gonna. It's the moment you're gonna get like knifed in the
hit
street,
by a
and
car.
you won't have to share it on TikTok. Like, no, like you or I mean, call the police or whatever. Like you, you, but then you go without it for a while, and you're like, oh, right. Like there's like in emergency, people are so they, like in
Well,
really in situation of dangers, like most of the time I notice that people will like not reach out for their phone because the help is at hand. And
oh
the
wow.
idea that, well, I mean, if you're completely alone in the wild and you don't have a
Yeah,
VHF, you fucked up beyond repair, right? Like before you set off. But in most situations, if you faint on the subway station,
there are
they're not
people,
going to
right,
call. Yeah, yeah,
right. No, and but that's it. I'm afraid to leave it because what if I get a call? What if I get a text? But then in the moment, so my kids are in martial arts and I love to watch them, but there are those days where like that screen is just calling me. Where if I just left it at home, it would have been easy to pay attention to them, which is what I wanted to do.
yeah. Well, if you have kids, I think the situation changes entirely, and I have no. I can't advise on like how this should be done. Obviously, yeah, you want to know how to reach them in all. I mean,
What
as
about
much as you want.
so yeah, I have two little children and a wife. Should I can
But you made it as a kid without
I
your parents, calling you all the time.
oh yes. Yeah. No, but what I was gonna say is can I get your permission to go out on a boat and live as humbly as possible? Like that sounds amazing. But again,
I mean, like
this is incredible.
you have to try everything else before you try this. Like obviously,
Yeah.
uh,
This but
we tried other things, and this seemed to us, from the knowledge that we had, to be what worked the best. Actually, like so Sigrid asked
oh,
something. Well, not asked something, but like Sigrid made a joke about something that we actually get a lot. Uh, I don't want to answer this because it's kind of and it's interesting. Like a friend of mine, Maxim in Montreal, that's the first thing she told me when I told her that we were going to go on a boat, and she was like, but you're gonna miss like seasons of of this TV show, and like we went sailing, and I think the brain
it's
normalizes all the experiences. So like when you're outside on the ocean, you don't need Netflix. Netflix would be too loud, too violent, too intense, too much in your face. Like you look at birds and you could look at them for hours because your brain is just like will normalize the experience enough that suddenly looking at these two birds following you along is more exciting. It's the most exciting thing in the world. So the idea that you need Netflix in like far-flung countries or places, it's not. It's just not how it happens. Like I can't like even people that we meet offshore, they're not like watching Netflix, like they're not watching movies, they're talking to each other, reading, or just honestly just looking outside. Looking outside is like infinitely amazing, like awesome.
I just can't get over and I mean that shows how ingrained it is. Like I don't have Netflix and my friends are surprised. Like my real life friends are surprised. Or I got a tattoo and my tattoo artist was on Instagram. She's like, I hate being on Instagram. I have to be on Instagram. I was like, I don't even know what Instagram is. And she touched me. She's like, oh, you're so sweet. I'm like, oh my God, that hurts. But that's like, yeah, it's wow. This is amazing. I love this.
Well, I mean, like I think you look like you're pretty much the same generation as me, maybe, and we're missing out a lot of memes and a lot of things that are going to
Yeah.
be confusing that are going to be super confusing to us the further we go along. And I think missing out is totally fine. Like that's one thing that, like you learn pretty quick. Like I missed Bitcoin. I missed COVID. Like there are things that you're just like, whoa, like this happened. Like we like the whole NFT arc. We were in transit between Tonga and New Zealand. So we arrived after a few weeks, and it was like, whoa, now there's something called fidget spinners that's like everywhere. And, and you miss enough of these like landmark events, and then after a while you're just like, stuff happens, like, and it's okay if some people will have missed Instagram entirely, and they're not worse for it. Like it's just things that happen.
Right. Well, and eventually you get to an age where like I'm not keeping up anymore. I'm not doing this. But the younger generation gets on the next hot thing, right? Which I think now is TikTok or whatever's next. But it's funny because you miss. It's amazing to think of because like you're outside of societies. You miss those trends, waves through the moment. Like the fidget spinners or Beanie Babies back in the '90s, right? Like,
well,
and
right now it's Labubu. Like we totally missed that because it's completely different generation. Like I heard about this for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, whoa, it's cool that we
what
didn't see this because we don't have kids, and even through our friends, like this, it just didn't make it to us.
I have to do it. I have to ask. The current one that I know of is 6'7".
Uh, I don't know what it's about. I just saw people do this, and I feel like I'm missing the context. Like I was with Reka the other day, and we watched something, and like everyone's laughing, and we're like, like this sort of, it's like shit. I feel like we're not in on it or something, and it's
But
scary sometimes because you're like we're missing all the cues to have a proper human interaction, with the younger crowd right now.
it's nothing. That's the amazing thing. Like they think it's hilarious. My kids don't even know what it is. They just know it's funny because they could say it and do it. It was just someone that did it and someone took it as a meme. It literally like but that is I'm experiencing it due to a full generational gap where sometimes you experience it because you're literally outside of society for what, months?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
standard Western society, let's say that, right? Because what trends here, whatever you want to call it, is wholly different than some other part of the world.
Yeah, but no, but this is like I mean, I watch YouTube videos and I see reference to things that I can honestly, I know there's a thing here that I'm missing. Like sometimes I go look it up. Like today I was like, I saw someone with a tote bag which had a single Korean character on it, and I just wrote it down. And then the first thing I did when I got here, I was like, okay, I have to figure out what it is, and it's Haeol, and it means oh my fucking god. It's a single glyph in Korean, and it's a big thing. Like it's like a meme that everyone uses, and well, I mean maybe not in Austria, but in Korea, like I could see pages and pages of like people using it to just mean like that face kind of thing. And, and I like this kind of I mean, as a designer, I like to know these things. Obviously, I don't participate in all of it, but
Oh,
I find myself trying to catch up whenever I can.
dude, and this is one of the reasons why I love to talk to people is because I love that. I love finding like understanding those kinds of other cultures, what's happening in them because like you didn't know what it was. I've never even run across one. Like what are you missing out on? And that's why like I think something like this and I would I could never go on a sailboat for that long ever, even if like my kids were out, my wife and I are like, let's go on it no. I'm very risk averse, but the experience of all of this, it matters. Like it changes you. You see, you look at again carrying a phone. You look at it in a wholly different light of like what really matters.
But it's the same thing as what we're talking now. Like imagine that you might feel like you might be missing out on experiences, but again, your brain normalizes everything. So
No. Oh
from the
God.
outside, it seems like a crazy thing to do to cross the ocean back and forth. But when you're in it, the only surprise that you have is how capable you are to handle this kind of stuff. Even when shit hits the fan, you're just like you're looking at your hand, doing the knot in the middle, the night when the rain is going sideways, and you're like, how am I here doing this and not being freaked out? You're just like going through the motion, and then you're like, wow, that was intense. But I mean, that was this. I mean, when you're cycling in winter in Montreal, you're like you slip and you almost fall under a car. It's like, well, that was intense. But then you go home and it's just another day. I think like having kids, like the stressful moments in like
Yeah.
your kids fall sick, gets hurt, get into a fight, steal something at the store. Like these moments, you live through them. You see how you handle them perfect, like as best as you can physically handle them, and then you're like, huh. Well, the only lesson I got here is that I didn't know I could do this, and then I didn't know I could, get over this, or. And I think this is cool. Like, I never drove a car. I'll never probably have this experience in my life of like driving a car. But this is like normal for people to go at like 100 on a highway, going around going around other people. It's like, well, I have a. It seems kind of neat. Like I would. I mean, this is an
I
experience I can envy, but I won't have.
no, and it's I absolutely love this conversation because you have such again a different experience for me that I love hearing all of this because I drive a car constantly and I hate it. I want to never drive a car again, but it's not at least in the lifestyle I've chosen, it's not feasible. Um oh wow. I love this.
So it's different kind of normal.
Yeah. And we existed without phones and cars before and we could
Yeah.
exist again.
Like if you like reading classics like Middlemarch or Anna Karenina, that sort of stuff, like the lesson you get from these old books, like these classics, they tell you it's the same sort of drama. The setting is different,
Oh
but
yeah.
the social dynamics and the life experiences, they don't really oscillate much further than just how
It's
we live today.
yeah, no, and it's slow iterations of things, right? Like oh god, what was the movie? Like growing up as a kid, I always thought Star Trek was like the only one. And then there was a movie I saw with Leslie Nielsen in it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is literally just that." Like we all get no idea is sparked in a vacuum, right? You
Yeah.
always have some kind of connection to what you're making and where it came from. You always have an inspiration, I guess I'm saying. Um, dude, you blow my mind though. This is like
Yes, airplane. I don't think that's the movie
Airplane.
you were referencing. It
No,
was.
it wasn't air.
But
No, it was not
yeah,
Airplane.
but Airplane
It,
is comedy gold.
Airplane is brilliant. I love Airplane. Which in the quiz I'll ask you something similar. But no, Leslie
And
Nielsen actually did
KHN is
this.
here, June is here. Like you look at the chat and it's like all fantastic, Fediverse people, one after the other. Wakist is asking about Rotan. We can talk about that since like you're interested in like peer-to-peer converse like topics.
Yes, yes.
We could talk about that if you want. It's like before it's like proto Fediverse for me anyway.
What is
Like
this?
so like you said you didn't know what scuttlebutt was, right?
Correct.
Okay, don't look it up. You're not gonna find anything. It's on the dark web.
Okay, okay. I know what the dark Forbidden Planet. Sorry, Leslie Nielsen was in a movie where he was a serious role in this 1950s
There's a Leslie
sci-fi.
Nielsen movie I haven't seen.
Forbidden Planet is what it's called. It's absolutely fantastic. Leslie Nielsen is amazing. But like watching that, I'm like, oh my god, I see where Star Trek came from and Star Wars and it. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. But yes, I looked up Scuttlebutt. It's not on the regular web. It's on the what
Yeah,
on
no, hold on.
Tor or something.
Yeah, no. Forbidden Planet. I'm gonna write it down.
Yes, Forbidden Planet. If you like old sci-fi movies, It is
I do.
fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, so Rotond was like uh, an attempt at making a social network uh, at a time where Fediverse was not happening yet, and Twitter was dying. So it was sort of like we couldn't go like so Twitter was retiring, was about to retire the HTML on the front end, which pissed me off like like like
Okay.
crazy. Because I was using the old, like you probably, if you use Reddit, I'm pretty sure you use old Reddit and not whatever the new front end thing, right? So
Yeah.
like, well, for example, one time I went to the Google office, every single developer was using the HTML client. Um, anyway, so I was using the Twitter HTML client, and they were getting rid of this, and the new one just didn't load on the boat when we were in Mexico, and I was just like, fuck, like we need
I
something,
remember that.
and someone called Paul Frazzi, who's now doing um, Blue Sky, was uh, was working on a browser called Beaker, which was like imagine LimeWire, but that serves HTML.
Okay.
So so basically, you imagine like a torrent client, and you can subscribe to web pages,
Yeah.
and you will host the thing, and you will also broadcast it. So it just decentralizes the the hosting basically.
Wow. Holy cow. Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. How about we make like a chat, like a Twitter thing on it? We'll make a RSS like thing. People can make themselves a profile, and we'll make a client that everyone can rehost, and then you just add websites to your aggregator, and then it will populate a feed like thing. And we
Okay.
spent like we spent just a I don't know, like 2 weeks, or we had a working prototype. It was nice, and we just shared it with our friends. And actually, a whole bunch of people in the chat right now were using it. Like the killer app of our system was that we had SVG avatars, which was so cool. Like people could make vector avatars in all colors, animate them and stuff. Super light to share. No binary assets. It was like really cool.
Again, I said
Uh,
this. I don't know if I said this on stream or if I said this earlier. Like, you guys are such another level of nerdity that I would love to be, because like I always hated the Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. And I was always looking for alternatives like that. But because I was kind of more on the casual side, now I'm seeing, like, I had no idea any of this existed. This is amazing.
well, I think our de facto is to just build the thing if we can't find it. Um, but like it went for a while, and we made a web ring over this, and it created like a little community that sprouted out of that. Um, I think it made people very optimistic about technology, because it did for me too. Like
Yes.
it was it was cool because we found each other without centralized services, and then we everyone could collaborate to this network. Everyone could make themselves clients for it,
Oh,
and they also encouraged people to make personal websites, which was that's been a mission of my life, since I was a kid, to encourage people to make websites again. It's a difficult uphill battle, but little projects like this have a huge impact on like getting people to just create themselves a media that they can use to reflect and think and write and like share their knowledge with others, and like fight back, the sort of like bit rot that we're seeing with the web.
yeah. There was what was the protocol too that was basically basic HTML, no pictures or ads or any of that. There was
You mean Gemini?
Gemini.
Gopher?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Gemini and Gopher, they're similar ideas, uh, but the Beaker browser was different. It was not so much a change in protocols. It was more like a change of how the files are hosted.
Okay.
And this had really strong repercussion on everything basically. Like if you want like the project for Beaker was to share, I think, like some serious sounding thing. I think they were trying to share papers and some academia thing, and we were using it to share memes, and it became sort of like the most popular used little thing. Like even Beaker tried to kill us by making their own chat thing to compete with it, and and but
Wait, you're like
eventually the
you're like internet gangs having rivals over something that like you could probably fit like a room of people that are all involved. That's great
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's cool because people are like, oh, there's a need. There's definitely a need here. And the way we were doing it
Yes.
was like super niche and especially tailored for artists. And they were like, well, it'd be cool if the normal user could actually use it. I don't think they had a good pulse on like who was actually using beakers because it was 100% nerds who just wanted to fuck around. Like there was no, I don't think there was like a casual user of beaker. Like you had to know about
Right. Yeah.
all this to even get
And
the thing running.
and then did you get into the part where you have a split divide where there's a huge group of very vocal people who are like, I just want this for us. Don't make it any easier for other people. Where other people are like, no, we want to be welcoming, and neither side is wrong. Did you have that? Because I've seen that in like open source
Yeah,
communities and things
I
constantly.
wish we didn't get there.
Oh no, okay.
The project was sort of abandoned. They were thinking about other things, and the
Oh,
browser
that
and
sucks.
the mirrors we were using started to degrade. So the service became super unreliable, and we were failing to. Sometimes like we would try for like 40 minutes to like pull, and it's sort of like
I, and that's those are the kind of unique things that I feel that can be done, but because it is so outside again that normal of Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, like sustaining itself is impossible unless you have dedicated people that are just throwing money into it, which is sad though. I mean, it's
the Fediverse so far is a pretty robust thing.
yeah,
It's more robust than where Blue Sky is at right now. It would be hard to kill. It would be very very hard to kill. And there's a ton of people. I'd say most people who use Mastodon, for example, don't know how Mastodon works, um,
yes,
and that's a good sign. I mean, it's
yes,
a good sign. Like so what scared me with decentralization is that you're as weak as your user who understand the least about how it works. But federation, the upside is that it can be inviting for people who don't have that knowledge yet, who might be like on the way of, of acquiring it,
yeah,
who also don't have this interest at all, but they can still participate and like cross-pollinate with artists, programmers, and musicians, which is hard to get. Like Rotan, for example, with Beaker, I didn't even try, to get it, beyond. I think some people felt like it was the onboarding was crazy, and I get it. I mean, it was experimental. It was
yeah.
like it was sort of like a spur of the moment kind of thing. Fediverse right now is like old enough that there's people who have no idea how it works. They get to participate for a while, and then they learn about how the things. They can decide for them if that's something that they want to even care about. But Rotom didn't have that
Right.
option, and so I think the federation idea is better. I think than decentralization for a lot of these cases, especially for accessibility.
And that's what I was excited about talking with Anuj and Ryan from a new social where they said at one point using Bridgie Fed like the Eugene Gargaron and the Blue Sky someone or other were talking over it. And it's like once it's transparent and people don't have to think about it, it makes it so much easier to pick up. And I say get them into the ecosystem and then let them decide how much, like you said, how much you want to interact. Because now you have the choice, you have the option. But if you put that up front to everyone, we'll run your own server. I don't even know what this is. We'll run it anyway. It's like, let's get him in. Let's welcome him in. And
Yeah. I'm
so,
a bit scared for the ad proto personally. Uh, I hope that they succeed, but they seem to be doing a lot of things backward. That uh, if like I would love like at one point I would love to run an instance for a community because the point where it starts to become something that we can rehost and just like be independent of the network if the rest of the network fails, like it would be nice, but they're getting further away from that all the time. So the more their service complexify, already like it's so complex. I understand it also. I
Well,
mean, I went to some of their like their talks, and it's like they're not targeting us. They're targeting like a massive pool of people who have infrastructure funds, and
yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. I'm also worried that they're going to go against their own user once.
Well, and that's the thing that worries me about AT Proto. Like I think AT Proto is pretty much mostly open source, right? But they still control the keys to it.
Well, they can still ban people across the network, which
Right.
is sort of against the idea of decentralization or federation.
Right. Yeah.
So they're using it, to
Yeah.
gather money, and they're getting users
Well,
who will be. It's like all the people who moved from Tumblr, or they're going there, and now they're gonna get fucked in the same way again. And it's like
no stir.
how many times do you have to relearn this lesson? I wish
And
our
and
friends who
but
who are into arts didn't have to go through this hassle of changing place all the time.
but I think June Gardner said it best, which there will be something better. And that's
Oh yeah,
why I love the Fediverse stuff because it's just getting started. You can take it any if one guy was able to recreate Twitter, what are people that now have libraries and frameworks going to be able to do? Like that.
yeah. I think like I daydream about this all the time, and I would love. I want to
This is
see some.
romantic, right? I'm romantically thinking
Yeah,
again.
I think I would love to see another experiment like Beaker, where the web is designed to be offline first, and but to have all the niceties of like the post, like the stream services of like the Fediverse, for example, like connecting these two services together, so you can like following someone is the same as like rehosting their feed. Like they have the keys, they're the only
Yes.
account that can make
Yeah.
changes, but like there's not one server, because right now the problem with Fediverse is like the bandwidth is insane. Like if I share a link on my feed with 14,000 followers, that site will go down like
Yes.
almost all the time. So it's super annoying to think about like, oh, the link crawler that will try to unfurl the URL I'm sharing will basically like DDoS that website every time that I'm sharing something.
Oh no, and
So
it's
we
yeah,
need a
that's
better
a
system than that.
I mean, yeah, we've literally built the internet to not do exactly what this is designed to do, not maliciously, but it can and will be used maliciously if it can, right? Yeah.
I mean, in that case, it's not
But
maliciously. It's just incidental to
right,
whatever
I've
I'm
done
trying
it
to do.
too. I've DDoSed myself by throwing a link out to one of my servers, and like the group of friends I have that helped me with it. They're like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I didn't touch it."
Just shared it.
Yeah, right. I just shared it, guys. I'm sorry. Um, where was I going to go with that? Oh, the idea that you have. What is it called? Like your personal identity pod, essentially, right? That's where a lot of folks keep coming back to. Is you should be able to just have, like Tim Berners-Lee started Solid or something similar, where your digital you, because right now there's a million digital us, if not way more, out there that directly connect to us. We should be able to have that key at that layer.
I okay. I have thoughts, and
Okay.
like the simple thing, like the 2025 thing that would be awesome and that would rock is that your personal website is what identifies you. I want this to be my source of truth, and
Okay.
actually I would
Yeah.
love it to be a mirror of all my content, and that for Mastodon to be a front end, for example, or a
Yes.
mirror like
Yes.
a grid,
Right.
right?
Right. Yep.
So this is like a good first step towards something like this, but I'm deathly afraid of where this is also going at the same time. So we're talking about like, oh, like this cool open web kind of thing, and we want to like empower people, and it's going to be like an artist centric web. Like so, so many years ago, well, the handle I use online is Devine Lu Linvega, right? And that's a character from a book that I loved when I was a kid. And that
Okay.
character is a robot trying to go online, after the world was made it so you have to prove that you're a human to participate to go online, because there was so much AI that they just like outright banned robots from accessing the internet. So all the robots are trying to like basically kill all the humans to get their access to internet, or like uh, basically like breed them to create like internet accesses. It's called Blame, if you want to look it up.
Yeah.
And so, and I this is when I started to use that name, I saw this as I wanted to be a constant reminder of like where things are going, and I'm afraid that this is where we're going. So like right now,
Ne-
the way I see this
right.
is that the purpose of AI is to make anonymity online illegal. So like that's like if I was behind the tech, that would be definitely my weapon of choice. So like the way I'm seeing the trend would be, well, eventually the bots will just like and on the like flood the internet enough that you will have to identify yourself as a human, because people won't want to see content that is unhuman. And but the floodgates will have been open. Eventually, they will outright ban AI, and you will have to authenticate yourself as a human, and you will be given this sort of like thing as when you're born or whatever. And this is
I,
the trend that I would love to fight back, but also I don't want to accelerate by accidentally doing something that would work.
no, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's I'm. It's amazing that like we have to stop and think about the whole like, yes, we can do these things, but at what cost, kind of a thing. Because I've thought about the pod stuff. Like if you have a personal identifier in a pod, it's like, okay, well, if you start requiring these because it is yours, who hosts it? Well, the government can host it. It's like, well, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah. Okay. So people in Latvia, they have all their government services tied to an identifier that is given to them. They can use that to do to their card. Like basically like
And
Weibo, right? It's sort of like everything is done through this ID.
yeah,
Um, well, okay. So now we're going closer to a sort of like a global government who will hold all these keys, and this is not so many. That's not so many steps further away from the world of blame, right? So like I think as I learn more about these things, the more I want to be as a force of slowing things down so we can get smart and learn about how this thing and prepare.
oh yeah,
Right now, it's
we've
like a race to arm to make sure that all of this is set up without having a plan to protect ourselves against it.
dude. So I am both massively fascinated and absolutely scared to read Blame because
uh,
that's where you see it going, right? It's like, hell is paved, hell's the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Like
yes.
that's where. Oh my gosh, and I need to go out and just relax and slow down on a boat because the amazing sprint we did across so many different topics is incredible. It must be like slowing down gives you a lot of time to think about all these things, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean the boat. I don't think about that stuff so much,
Oh, good.
but like
Okay.
it's the little time I spend. Like right, the little time my life is online. Like the time I spend talking with people and just you know I'm doing my own experiments on also to figure out like you to figure out like how these interact, what forces are like what happens. Like I run a small community. Like some of the people in the chat here, they heard about
And
our conversation like this way. It's really cool, but like moderation is a topic that I find infinitely interesting, but it's like the sort of thing you want to spend
yes.
your whole life learning about because
Yep.
it's such a mess. Um, Today I went to the university here, and they have like an art studio, and I was speaking with the people there, and like they're trying to run the art cooperative as a co-op, and like have all these things, but like I spoke with them 5 minutes, and then they start talking about the drama, like all the infighting that they're having, and I was like, whoa, it's like everywhere you go, it's like this.
The thing that I find absolutely mind blowing is though that like you've picked like the polar opposites of things to try and like mesh together, which is like, yes, run an online community, but like that again, you're doing it from a boat and you're trying to do it as minimally as possible.
I mean, there might be an upside to that. So first off,
It's
for
amazing.
example, I think in The Expanse, the main character says like, if you trust someone, you can put your life in their hands. Like that sort of thinking, I really like. So like I don't have the keys to the community myself, and I completely let a handful of people run it.
Okay.
Like the back end, the moderation, like the serious moderation. I sort of like try to do a, to have. I try to be as much possible a user, a participant, more than an active force that shapes things. Because the moment that you say that you are the de facto person to see if there's an issue, people will stop trying to figure out within themselves how to solve it. Obviously, when there's like outsider attacking our members, or like we will intervene and like fight back and protect
Yeah.
our friends. But sometimes it's disagreement within the community, and an active hand would just make it worse. I think like there's no parents overseeing the
Yes.
situation, and
No, but
I like to
you're
think that's a good way of.
100%. You're setting up a community to be a self-sufficient community, not to be a community that is built on one person on top that decides everything, or even
Yeah,
pressures based on whatever, right? And that is true open community. That's
if we're
rare.
lost at if we're lost at sea, the community is not gonna die. I think it will outlive our physical experience. People will be happy just doing. They'll truck along. Like, but software, open source is the same thing. Like, we make
Yes.
everything open
Yep.
source and document it as much as we could, because the next tomorrow we might just not make it back to port. And we would love to think that the little languages, the little toys we made, they still work without us being there.
And yeah, that is, I mean, open source. I love open source software. I could talk about that all day, but I see it as a history book. As long as it's there, anyone can come and read it and learn from it.
Yeah. And the more documented it is, the more approachable and realistic that is.
Yeah.
Uh, if the threshold is that people have to reverse engineer the binary thing, that might be a bit pretty steep if there's not already a massive community behind the thing. But for little projects made by two people, the openness, the documentation, the deduplication of information on other people's blogs and websites make it so it's more resilient and also might outlive us.
And that's crazy to think about because it's going to be interesting because I remember like I was I was on AOL, so I was like before the real big boom, but now yeah, there could eventually there could be a day like we all had go GeoCities, right? And those are all gone. But if you have these other formats, even when you are gone, they still live on in digital pieces. How do you
Well,
how?
like,
But that's scary for the future because how can they tell what is true and real and not someone that rewrote history or wanted to
well,
rewrite history?
so I mean, we like to say that we, maybe cast some projects in an ember. So like,
Yeah.
we used to make things for the web, for JavaScript, for iPhones, and eventually we were like, okay, so we'll target a virtual machine that is very minimal, doesn't have much play for like uh, interpretation, and we documented it so people could re-implement it, and people have. So my interpreter might not survive in the long term, but someone else's interpreter might. And
Yeah.
the documentation already found its way in other people's blogs. So we're not really the source of truth anymore, but the average of what everyone has made about it is. So like, like there's like a game theory thing where it's like you guess, like one person guessing the weight of a cow, it's going to be wrong. But if you get 40 people and use the average, it's most likely to be right. I think for
Yeah.
computation, especially in terms of complexity and like the distribution
Well,
of chaos in like a software, the average of like multiple implementation might be closer to the truth than even the one I made as the original, right?
yeah. I mean, but it happens. like that. No, this is because I mean, software's gotten to where it was because it evolved like this, right? And that's essentially what you're talking about is, I made the first, here it is, and then people have taken and they iterated on it to whatever it gets to. Again, like the Fediverse, this is not like there will be more, there will be better, whether it's Fediverse or so, there will always be a next, and it is going to learn from this. Oh my God, Devine, you're blowing my brain, man. And should I tell you about what we were talking about before when the show started?
The questions?
No, 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 no. The specific guest that had 43 viewers.
Yeah,
Did
yeah, yeah.
did
Did we beat Cory Doctorow? I
Yeah.
don't know how many people. How many people? How do you even see
So,
the?
well, I have it in my admin dashboard. Cory Doctorow had set my peak viewer count since whenever I had him on, which was literally like 6 months ago, and it was 43. Because a lot of people ingest the show via the audio podcast or the video. Not many people come to watch it, but we've topped out, and like I'm amazed by this, and hopefully it's
Well,
running fine. It seems it's running good.
I
It's 63.
well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Cory Doctorow is way more worth listening to me, but I like that we've managed to just get a bunch of people. Especially, I can honestly say I've spoken with almost everyone in the chat, so it's sort of like it's
No,
it's cool. It's cool that people showed up. Like,
yeah, like you're bringing your community in. We are all, yeah, and this is what I love about the Fediverse. This is what I love about talking to people is we all get to meet each other. And it's so cool. And there was no other time in history where this amount of communication could be possible. And it needs
yeah.
to be free. It needs to be open.
Well, earlier you were saying like you were surprised you never came across me, but
Yeah.
like I had come across you before through Wakest. Wakest is like a no like a nomad, and like sometimes I find myself in like weird places on the internet, and it's like Wakest is here. Wakest was here in like 7 years
Yeah.
ago. So,
There's
like writing a post on a forum, it's like what and it's these sort of people who like navigates multiple worlds. For me, like I love having a chance of like meeting them, having them in my life, and allowing like these people to like to send
right.
things my way, like your show and like other things like that.
And I might not understand all of it, but I love learning about it. Like I'm not, yeah, I'm the same way. Like there's just those guys in the community that are like the connectors to everything that really make this work, and then I'm just kind of like riding on top of all they've done.
Well, okay, so Wakes just said that he's the person who invited me on the Fediverse. Like I had never heard of Mastodon or anything like this before he showed up. Like I was like the solar punk thing was becoming a keyword people were using, and he's like, oh, there's this really cool community uh, that you should check out, and I fell in love immediately. And eventually, a few years later, we made our own instance, and we've been
And
running it ever since.
I mean, it's amazing because that's how it happens, right? Like we've gotten to the point where we are organically growing and we're getting other people excited to jump into these things. And I agree. I love this. I've tried it in different formats. I can't wait until we can like I could just like flip a button, have like a Reddit style layout, and now it's a Twitter style layout, and now or Mastodon, whatever, right? Like that's where I see
Oh,
it
you
eventually
mean
going.
yeah, yeah, me too. Like you don't download the assets for the front end. It's a client that you have on your
Yep.
website that is that like a package or something like a map like
That'd be
any app
yeah.
that you would use for the but like this for everything. I would love to be able to say that my website is like bring RSS back 1,000 times and like make it like 100 different protocols that will like say what kind of data you're sharing for different front ends. Like this would be huge, and I would love that there's no centralized servers to get that data from
And
anymore. When I see all
and
the Cloudflare stuff going down, it's just
well, and that's why I think it can only happen. Like this kind of evolution on the web at this point has been so strangled by some specific companies that like something like the Fediverse would never, even if you pitched it inside of Facebook, like that's a dumb idea. It's literally against their, their money maker at this point, and it's only going to come organically. They're too busy chasing the next big thing, which again makes me so excited because this boom, which I think it's going to be a boom, reminds me exactly of the internet when it started. And that's why I'm so excited. The natural organic growth, the amazing people I get to meet, the crazy stuff I've never heard of that I get to cross path with. Like that is the original conversation, the original communication.
Yeah, finding ways to facilitate that's going to be like the big challenge in the future, because being
Yep.
like flooded by bots and diluting what people are like, I find it creates so much cynicism that it just paralyzes people. Like they're like, I see a lot of people are being like, well, computing sucks, and like they just pull
Yeah.
out because they hate what they're seeing, and I can't blame them.
No, I've literally tried to espouse the virtues of Owncast in Twitch, and everyone immediately just says it's impossible. It'll never work.
Here, done.
It's like,
Yeah, it works. It works really well. The thing you showed me where you get an invite code to authenticate yourself, I was like, this is
yeah.
it's two services or three services talking to each other, and it's like through the servers that we have. Like, this is really cool. This is I want more of this.
Yes, and how easy it is, intuitive. And again, early days. I think it's all just going to keep evolving, and it's going to be amazing.
June in the chat, you should click on the drop down on the top right and authenticate yourself. You're gonna freak when you see how that works.
How long have you been on the Fediverse?
I don't know. Let's ask Wickes. Probably probably 9 years.
Oh, wow.
I hopped around like everyone. I had a Mastodon social and then a bunch of different instances. Right now, I run two main accounts. One is on Snack, which KHM.
Oh,
is
Snack.
running.
Yeah, I know Snack. Yeah.
And the other one is on like Hometown by Darius. So we can have local only posts, which is really nice since we have a community of people who have like, we do like events like music compilation, art projects together.
Have you heard of Frequency?
No.
Frequency is I don't even know how to describe. So it's
a client.
It is it's a service built into the Fediverse where it's a private, direct, like Instagram. You post your videos, but only there is no like timeline to search from. You have to do that. So like you can build a community where you can all share your stuff, and then when someone comes into the community, you can invite them into like that.
Is it a one instance, like one person, one user instance kind of thing?
At the moment, there's only, I don't know. That's a good question. At the moment, I think there's only one server. Let me see.
I'll look it up.
Frequency.app is what it is.
Okay.
Where was it? Zen mode. No infinite scroll, no distractions, just updates from the people you care about most. It's pretty cool. I don't know if like something like that would, because again, you have to be inclusive. You have to bring someone in, and like you talk about bot issues, right? Unfortunately, I see it as a way that, we're only going to we're going to have an allow list, and everyone else is kind of banned, and you're going to have different communities that have different allow lists and things like that.
I really like the invite on, like the federate by default. You just whitelist people that you want to follow, like instances you want to follow. This I would love to see.
Yeah.
It's funny because June and Sigurd, they can't use the two-step and all the validation system with the DMs because they use, well, I think Sigurd is on Snack, and June's instance is too new, I think. It might not have federated with yours.
Yeah.
But
but again, this is the glaring problem of the Fediverse.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to raise it, because it's like, oh, I didn't see this. Oh no, wait, Sigurd is on Go too. that?
I think
Oh,
I
I'm
opened
pretty sure they're both on Go To Social.
I think I opened a bug with them a while ago about that. But I have, because I have an Owncast instance, get this. This is what I really like, is because I have an Owncast instance. If I go to someone else's Owncast and I authenticate, I can do, what's it called? Open authentication or something like that, where I point to my Owncast. Stream.ozone.net is mine, but there's also live.fireside Fedi. And it has me log in as myself on my own. And once mine is logged in, it says, yes, this is that person as well. I like that one better
Yeah,
because
yeah. Well, I
clearly it's a
really like
domain.
the website validation thing. For me, I like a lot. Having a profile in your website header, this is a good source of truth as well.
Yes. Yeah, I've
So
heard. Yeah, because
I,
people are doing
I
authentication essentially from like their Mastodon to their main website. That
yeah, you
right?
can say this website is actually mine because you made a modification to add this extra bit in the header, so it binds
Right.
the two together. So this kind of stuff I like, and and also it brings
Yes.
back this sort of yeah, the rel equal me thing from that's Sam I said like
Oh, Sam site.
this.
Yeah.
I think it brings it back to your personal website, which I
Yes.
saw in some
Yep.
cases people were like, well, I'm gonna make myself one, I guess, and I was like, yes. So this is cool. This is working in the right direction.
Well, I could keep talking to you forever. Hopefully, I didn't make too much of an ass of myself. But now, for the real reason I asked Devine here is to give them the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today is a 75-meter support vessel to help your ship. I thought about a 76-meter one, but that's beyond silly. Are you ready for the quiz?
Yeah, I was gonna ask why use metric. Uh,
That's I don't.
but yes, I'm ready.
Okay, you threw me off with that. I'm like, I thought that was the standard go-to for boats. I guess I don't know. All right. So first question is favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Hmm. Uh, the acting, I think, definitely on that one. It's a great
Well,
quality acting. Like, but John Candy. I mean, John Candy. I would say definitely is my plus.
yeah. So what is your
It's
actual?
fitting great.
What is your actual favorite movie? It doesn't have to be Spaceballs. I love Spaceballs, but
I think Solaris, the remake with George Clooney, probably up there.
Solaris.
Um, yeah, it's like a corny sci-fi thing, but it has just the best soundtrack any movie ever had.
I'll have to
I
check this
think
out.
Cliff Martinez made the music. It's just a delight, and it's slow paced, but also it's in space, and the story is nice, and the acting's good. There's poetry involved. It's
Oh, nice.
um, yeah. Mary's like so. Lam wrote the short story, which is fantastic. Probably one of the best shorts, like most like fantastic short story. And there was a Tarkovsky movie about Solaris, which is kind of cool and pretty wild. Uh, and people love that one way more than the remake. But for me, I don't know, the remake, when I saw it when I was young, I was like, this is a really cool vision of like contacting a force that we don't understand at all. And I like this a lot. So that makes it probably my favorite movie. Everyone's like, what do you mean? It's not, because there's a movie called La Belle Verte, which I freaking love. And I, every time, if we had met like somewhere and like within 5 minutes, I would have mentioned it like as
that's,
it's just,
that's
it's just like, it's like sci-fi, vegan sci-fi. That's how I would describe it.
I've never
It's
heard of
brilliant.
this one.
It's absolutely brilliant.
All right, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check both of those out. I've never heard of that. Okay. Next question.
But I don't know, Spaceballs,
Oh,
Solaris.
I love dude. I love Spaceball. And I showed one of my community members. He had never seen it. I was like, we're watching it together, and I'm just bursting out laughing the entire time. And at the end of it, I was like, what'd you think? And he's like, it's silly. And I was like, yes, that's why I love it. And he's like, well, it's not a bad thing, but it's just really silly. And I'm like, you just gotta be silly, man. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so like I gave you two serious answers. My Spaceball favorite movie like thing would be Dracula Dead and Loving It. I know it from start to end. I can. I know every single dialogue. Rekka and I, we like during long transit at sea, we just like do the lines back and forth, and we can go like this through the whole freaking movie.
Excuse me. So that has Leslie Nielsen and Mel Brooks in it. And it is just so, even for Leslie Nielsen, it was over the top cheesy. But yeah, no, I got you.
It's brilliant work, is what it is.
All right. Next question. Boars, bunnies, or birds?
Boarheads, bunnies, I don't know, boarheads and bunnies, I would say they're even in my...
Sorry, excuse me. Boars, bunnies, or birds?
Oh, boars.
Yeah.
I mean, bunnies, what the...
That's... Okay. I figured it would be rabbits, bunnies. You have 100 rabbits.
Like, yeah, like at least... And what's the third one?
Birds.
Yeah, bunnies, birds, boars.
Okay. Next question while I try not to die. Mechanical or electrical?
Mechanical. I think you killed your microphone. I didn't hear that at all.
Why mechanical?
It's hard for a human to make electricity. It's like an indirection that is sometimes harder to go directly mechanical. So, for example, on our sailboat we have long oars that we can use to row ourselves to like the anchorage if the wind dies or if we're behind a rock or something. But if the alternate, you okay?
I think so. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying, like, let's say we can mechanically row the boat forward, but if we were to use a dynamo to charge a battery to do that physical action, the loss would be so high that it seems like it would be like the inefficient way to think, to reflect about this thing, right? So mechanical, like direct drive for me is like definitely the way to go.
Okay. All right. Next question. What does an alternate universe Devine do?
Those were all English words, I know, but the way you put them one after the other, it doesn't. So I don't understand what you mean.
So, if there are alternate universes, alternate dimensions, right?
Yeah.
There's another Devine out there somewhere.
Oh, what do I do? What would I do in that? I would do everything.
So the alternate universe Devine does everything? I feel like you do everything now.
But the sum of all alternate universe would be me doing everything. I would live. I would be dying all the time. I would be immortal all the time. I would do everything.
See, I love.
I would wait for things to happen and I would point at it.
I love having this quiz is so dumb, but it always brings up the most unique and interesting questions and answers because you're looking at it from, again, another outside level of, well, if there's infinite universes, then I would have done everything. Yeah. I'm in a constant state of every state. That's crazy. And that makes me feel so dumb for the next part.
No, but you have to watch the movie, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the message.
Oh, I love that movie. That movie was so good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that, I reached out to an alternate universe. I have an alternate universe phone. It changes from week to week. This week, it is a 91% isopropyl alcohol bottle. And don't ask how it works. It's very confusing to reach out to an alternate universe. That's completely normal. And the alternate universe Devine I spoke with said they invested in 100 rabbits. So those 100 rabbits have gone on to build businesses that have made their world greener, healthier, and safer for all rabbit kind. And Devine would like everyone to know, all hail our rabbit overlords.
But in that universe, is the alcohol used as alcohol, or is it like a replacement for water?
No, that's just the phone. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was off. Sorry, I was expecting a sort of like in that universe, milk is actually like
It could
arsenic or
be.
something, and I was like, okay, so the
Uh,
rabbit, for them, the water that they
see,
ingest is like
again,
poison to
yeah,
us. I see where you're going
I
with this. Let
think
me think about.
I think more on the level of Leslie Nielsen, Dracula Dead and Loving It, than I do at most people here. Like my brain is always in that stupid, ridiculous state. So, yeah, no, it's anyway. Next question: being served food or watching the food?
Again, I'm not sure on this. Being served food,
Yeah, that's
I am trying to find my way across Austria right now. It's in German. I don't understand anything, and I thought this was going to be in English. And so far, I have a really hard time trying to understand what the fuck
I
is
am.
going on. So, can you rephrase this in a way like
Yeah.
that, like
So
a student learning English could understand?
right. So I can't find it now, but on your website or
Yeah.
100 Rabbits, you have a like doll or something, right? That goes with you.
Yes. Yeah. Ninja.
And you said Nilj?
Ninja.
Ninj. Okay, Ninj. So you said one of Ninja's favorite likes is being served food and then watching the food. So I'm asking
Oh.
you, which would you prefer, or however you want to take the question, because it's not at all serious and I'm an idiot.
Okay. Okay. So Ninja can't touch the food because it's wet and it just seeps. And so Nim hates the rain and anything damp and wet, and since most of the
So do
food is
I.
wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the idea of being served something is nice. So even though you don't have a hole for your mouth and you can't get it, well, having minions doing stuff for you is just nice. So Nim being such a overlordy type character just loves to be served. So uh, but personally, I like the food as much as the next person, and I like to make it myself more than being served. Honestly, like eating out, I drives me crazy. I don't really like it. I'm more of a I want to make it happen myself.
All right. Sorry. All right. I'm very worried about this next one, but we'll see how it goes. As usual, the last question will be sent telepathically.
Oh my
I'll
god, here we
I'll
go. Like
I'll send you the question, and you let me know when you have the answer, and then give me the answer. Are you ready? Are your
yeah,
telepathic lines open? Here it comes.
yeah,
Okay. There's the telepathic question that I absolutely sent you. So take your time and think about the answer because I know it's a big answer or it's a big question.
right. But it's more like two questions. But yeah, so when you take babies in your arms, it's not you dispensing energy for the baby, but it's the baby recharging your own battery. And and the age at which you get your second set of teeth after you lose your first your second pair, like you lose your baby teeth when you're young, and then your second pair, these ones that you're having right now, when you cross the 120 threshold, that's when you get the third one. That's that. So I hope that really answers you.
Congratulations. You got every answer either correct or incorrect. Good job. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to give you that prize of a 75 meter support yacht because that's outlandish that someone can not only own a yacht but they have a support yacht. Looking at you, Jeff Bezos.
Oh, that's
So
it's so much more common than Jeff Bezos. You wouldn't believe.
I actually, because I was looking up stupid things to give you, because that's how I do it, and I found out about that, and it's vomitous.
Yeah, we see the super yachts from time to time, and the people that are on it, and the crew actually, like we're more likely to meet or like see the crew that polishes
Yeah.
the stainless. And but sometimes you're like looking at this massive thing who just like completely wrecks the landscape, uh, and you're thinking like, well, I mean, it just makes me feel like civilization is very ill. If
Yeah.
you raise your expectation of pleasure so high that this is the apparatus that will bring you joy, you're like complete, like you've
You'll be
yeah
miserable.
you're miserable.
Yeah.
Like Reka mentioned Hodor, which is called the toy box uh, vessel.
Okay.
It's completely crazy. Like it's a catamaran boat that carries an helicopter, a submarine, a bunch of jet skis, wakeboards, speakers, uh, all sorts of shit. So the owner of the USC can be distracted by making the life of everyone else in the wilderness anchored around them miserable. It's basically like yachting vampirism. It's
that
something.
that's another level of like privilege that they don't even realize they have. Well, how am I going to get to France, Muffy? Just take the yacht.
Which one?
Well, I got the big one, so you have to take the support vessel. Like, yeah, the that level of. Anyway, this is a great way for me to end this show, but Devine, this has been insanely amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and help help me on the way of understanding there's so much more out there with this kind of stuff.
Well, thank you for having me and helping me against jet lag because I have to stay up. I really have to stay up.
Yes, good luck adjusting to the jet lag. Um, but yeah, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that showed up here. Appreciate it. Thank you all to everyone on the Fediverse. Uh, the system works because you're all here. You're making those connections, those organic growths, and everyone brings something amazing and unique. And this is incredible. I'm absolutely humbled to even be able to be on a network with so many amazing people, let alone be able to talk to them. So, Devine, this
Well,
has been amazing.
keep doing the show. It's super cool, and you're doing good work.
Oh
I
my
think like
gosh.
I discovered a bunch of people through this, and I'm sure like the next ones will keep bringing on the
Yes.
table interesting people.
That's the hope, is that people can find other people to connect with and be together, because that's what it's all about. So, but I'm actually talking to Samsai tomorrow. Samsai is an Owncast streamer. I've known him. He's been in the Linux community for a long time. He actually is editor of Gaming on Linux. So that's another field if folks haven't gotten into. Samsai will be there. I don't normally
Well,
announce shows
are
on
you going
the.
to be talking to? Are you going to be talking to some site tomorrow at the same time?
No, that's a good question.
Because
I'll
this time for me is like really ideal. I might not be around, so I'll just have to watch them.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's at 11 Eastern tomorrow. So it was like 2 hours before ours started. Yeah, it's literally 2 hours. So, but yeah, thank you guys all so much. We'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great one.
Yeah. Shout out to Merveille, people who came, and thanks for everyone in the chat to come and ask questions and chat. And you're all nice. Have a good one.
Thank you.